keep picturing all these little kids playing some game in a field of rye. Thousands of little kids, and nobody's around. Nobody big, I mean, except me. I mean, if they're running around and they're not looking where they're going, I have to come out from somewhere and catch them. And that's what I do all day. Just be the catcher in the rye. The fields are a poetic place, but behind me is not a field of rye or wheat, it's rice. Today, I'm going to be a rice field keeper. Can you guess where I'm at? This is Hubei province, China, and it's September, the busiest and most joyful time of the year because it's the harvest. Look, already the harvest has begun. This field has been reaped and processed so that over half the Chinese population can live on rice, their bread of life.
China, when it comes to providing food for its 1.4 billion people, has always considered grain security to be its top priority. Between 2003 and 2015, China's grain output grew continuously, leading to the rare phenomenon of 12 consecutive years of increase in the history of grain output. In 2012, the grain output exceeded 600 million tons for the first time. In 1995, American scholar Lester Brown predicted in his book Who Will Feed China that China's demand for food in the future will have a huge impact on the international food market. Who will feed China remains a constant topic of international concern.
I think Dr. Brown ignores the other side of the coin. Not only consumption increased, Chinese capacity of agricultural production is also improving rapidly. So the per capita, we can produce from 4 tons to 6 tons per hectare. Brown mentioned that maybe due to industrialization and urbanization, the land for agriculture will reduce. But the fact is that our arable land has been increased from 128 million hectares to 135 million hectares.
China during the last third decades has shown its capacity to increase its production and to feed a growing Chinese population.
Statistics show in 2017, China imported a total of 130 million tons of grain, a 13.9% increase compared to 2016. In 2018, China imported a total of 115 million tons of grain, making it the world's largest grain importer. The current global grain trade volume is about 300 million tons, which is equal to half of China's grain demand. The rice trade volume is about 35 million tons, which equals to only 25% of China's rice consumption. As a result, China proposed holding our bowls firmly in our own hands to build a higher quality and more efficient and sustainable food security and support system.
We can produce enough food for ourselves, but it does not mean we don't need international market. Secondly, I think that's how to keep balance of agricultural structure. And the third one is China has quite largest international trade surplus. They hope they can export more goods to Chinese market to reduce the deficit of trade.
Although there was a massive production of grains overall, and the targets have been reached, there is still some commodities that are needed, imported, to satisfy the needs of the production of livestock and which is an indirect consequence of the changes of the economic growth and the changes in consumer habits.
Because we have so huge population, we cannot depend on international markets. If we go back to 2008 and 2009, the food crisis happened in the world. At that moment, if you want to import food from international society, then some countries declared they stopped to export food to the other countries. So it was very dangerous.
China is a densely populated country, with only 7% of the world's arable land and 6% of the global fresh water. How to feed 22% of the world population with limited arable land and fresh water is an issue of great importance in China. 1.2 million square kilometers of arable land is the bottom line for food security that China will hold on to firmly. Agricultural technology's development has played a critical role in solving China's food problems. Yuan Longping's hybrid rice technology, Li Zhengsheng's hybrid wheat technology, and Li Denghai's hybrid maize technology symbolize the development of China's agricultural technology, together with extensive international collaboration. These technologies have greatly increased the average output of China's individual grain categories. Chinese scientists have also developed salt-tolerant rice, which allows farmers to grow rice in alkaline soil. The contribution rate of China's agricultural technology has gone from 27% in the early 1980s to 58.3% in 2018. China's food self-sufficiency rate has maintained at above 95%.
Agricultural development relied on three key elements: policy, input, and technology. Since 2004, Chinese government released Central #1 documents to supervise agricultural development every year. Chinese government also released the new rural revitalization strategy, gave the very long objective of agricultural development. Following up this policy, we have the financial support. Government has invest huge money to agriculture. In 2018, our financial expenditure for agriculture has reached about 22 trillion RMB. And it accounts for 10% of total financial expenditure.
Man, farming is really hard. My back is already broken. Oh.
小伙子，现在都不用镰刀割稻了，现在都是用那个收割机给它收割。要不然我带你去看看啊？
啊，可以啊，可以啊。This is the result of a hard day's work from a farmer. When I come home, I'll tell my daughter, you know, food is not what you think it is. The supermarket is not a continuous grain vending machine. There is so much that goes into it. Oh, I almost forgot one important thing. I gotta keep a couple of these seeds, just to ensure that the flow of rice continues.
Up to 2019, China has maintained its healthy streak of bumper grain harvests. China may be able to maintain its bottom line of 1.2 million square kilometers of arable land, but to maintain grain security is still a formidable task. To increase output, excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, along with groundwater overmining, has each year in China led to land degradation, soil salinization and swamping, soil fertility decline, and soil contamination and acidification that cause soil retrogression and degradation in a total area of about 4.6 million square kilometers, which accounts for 40% of China's total land area. Aggravated soil contamination is also a grave issue facing the world. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN, retrogression and degradation are happening to about 33% of the world's soil, which is deteriorating at a startling speed. Every bit of land would affect a country's food security.
the overuse of pesticides and fertilizer. On the short term, it helps you to produce much more. On the long term, it has a huge impact on the soil, on the quality of water. Producing more is fine, but we need to do it in a different way.
We have taken a lot of measures to control the expanding of our agricultural pollution. We have extended the precise measurement of fertilizer system. So we check the elements of soil, then we designed the fertilizer solution for the special pieces of land. We just abusing fertilizers. And also we try our best to reduce to use our water. So we have micro irrigation system, including drip irrigation system. So I think we have done a lot.
In response to the serious land contamination, China declared that lucid waters and lush mountains are invaluable assets, advocating for the harmonious coexistence between man and nature and persevering in green and sustainable development. In July 2006, China launched the first national soil contamination investigation and introduced a series of measures to remediate the soil. On January 2019, the Law on the Preservation and Control of Soil Pollution was formally launched. Through legislation, soil contamination, excessive use of pesticides, and illegal use of prohibited pesticides will be severely punished. China aims to impose the toughest standards to ensure food safety. Having achieved the goal of food for all, China is continuously striving for eating better.
Firstly, we can consider how to strengthen our food quality supervision. And secondly, we should speed up to build up our agricultural product tracing system so that we know where these agricultural products comes, how they produced. And the third one, we can consider how to build up the standard of agricultural products. And I think we also can consider how to learn from international experience.
The international community is working on identifying these different techniques, which we call them climate resilient agriculture or climate smart agriculture. All these approach and techniques that will help us to continue increasing the production without destroying our planet.
I've got my ingredients. Now it's time to show off my talents. Okay, I'm in over my head. I've tried my best, but unless I'm going to be cooking salad for 15 guests, can you help me?
让我帮你吧。
I got it. Don't waste any food, right? In fact, I recall, isn't there like a poem named 去世日当午?
锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁吃盘中餐，粒粒皆辛苦。
Whoa! Ow! Ow, bung! Oh, it's so good. I can't eat any more. I'm done. No more. I gotta go. Oh my gosh. Okay, bye-bye.
Having infrastructure is important. Having the good research is important. And then having the means of production is important. And this is what has made China successful in achieving food security.
I think the most things is that China contributed a kind of visible, tangible, and learnable agricultural development solution to the world. Now, the hunger issue almost have been eliminated in China. So I think that's give confidence to other developing countries.
It's summer. The temperature in Beijing is 38 degrees Celsius. But I am lucky enough to go to a magical place that is only negative 18 degrees Celsius. You want to see? Oh, cool, okay. What are you doing here? What is this?
Germination test. This is watermelon, tomato.
So each Petri dish is a different species, a different breed?
Yeah, if the germination percentage is about 85%, we will send it to the next room for drying and packing.
Grain production has a special status, not just because the livelihoods of over 500 million Chinese farmers rely on it, but also from an economic development perspective, it's the anchor that stabilizes prices, promotes development, and boosts confidence. From a social stability perspective, food security is the key basis for national security, and the stabilizer that maintains social balance. Once agricultural production is stable, socioeconomic development is guaranteed against international risks and challenges with a solid foundation.
Wow. Man, it's amazing. It's like I've stumbled upon a treasure. What is this place? What am I looking at?
Yeah, this is the National Crop Gene Bank of China. This is rice. This is wheat.
And so these are all different types of species.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 877 crops.
Wow. Why is it so cold?
Because the lower temperature, the longer longevity.
How long can they survive here?
About 50 years, but it depends on different crops.
It's like a safe box that ensures all the varieties of the species of crops. It's amazing. Oh, there's one more thing.
Yeah.
A very important thing.
Okay.
I have to give you this.
What's this?
These are seeds.
Seeds.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can give you storage thing.
Can we get out of here? Because it's freezing.
Okay, let's go.